Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so that's pretty much it. The closing arguments have wrapped up, and it's time for jury deliberation, and you know what that means. Everybody's sitting on the edge of their seats, the Jeopardy music is playing, waiting to see what the answer is gonna be, and of course, in moments of heightened suspense, what else to do than speculate? What else to do than talk and gossip at the round table? You know, it's the drama of it all. Of course, there's a good group of people that are addicted to this drama, that kind of base their whole life existence around whatever the circus freak show that's happening in the media is. You know, what's the new thing this week? And those people, of course, are blue anon, blue-haired leftists, sitting at the edge of their chair, finally waiting for the prophecy to be fulfilled, for Donald Trump to be put in handcuffs, thrown in a prison jumpsuit, lock him away forever, and throw away the key. But unfortunately for these people, the dramatic legal analysis and drama surrounding the trial, or during the jury deliberation, well, let's just say it isn't the stuff of their Trump-deranged dreams. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here's how it works. We've got all these blue-haired leftists opening the TV, tuning into what's going on at CNN, hoping that all the legal analysts on their panel are going to be sitting there, telling them what they've been hoping for. The walls are closing in.
I believe this is the beginning of the end.
I do too.
It's really the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
He may be feeling the walls closing in on him.
All the walls closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
Breaking news, a new bombshell.
One astrologer says this means the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump.
You know, back to the 2016 rhetoric that certain people are so fond of. But instead, they're getting what we call in the business a frickin' reality check.
Judge, if I can ask you, do you see any potential appellate issue with the way the DA has charged this case? For the first time in New York history, they've essentially imported a federal campaign finance violation into a state charge.
Norman and I have been talking about this ad nauseum.
I figured.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about everything.
Shockingly.
Even on Sunday.
Well, I want to hear where the judge comes out. I know where Norm comes out. I want to hear where you come out.
Well, you know, I mean, it still is. Overall, I give the DA very high marks, absent 6 book excerpts on their summation. But it's still a little tricky to figure out how I think as far as the falsified business records, right, I think it's almost slam dunk right now that they've got Trump pretty solid. I think that the summation for the DA buttoned up a lot of that. Mm-hmm. But connecting that now, what are we connecting it to? How are we now? There is a ton of evidence, you know, of testimony that this was all being done for the campaign. You know, it's being covered up. It was covered up the way it was covered up because it was an unreported campaign contribution. But how has that been imputed to Trump yet?
Right.
And what is the actual? I still have not seen the final charges to the jury. I'm going to be, as a real nerd on this guy, I'm going to be like zoning right in. I want to see where they're using willful, what they're going to be using for state of mind. And whatever they use, I think that this is definitely a potential.
But Judge, to Ellie's point,
even a retired left-wing judge can't even get himself to toe the partisan line. Oh, well, you know, I think they've proven the wrongdoing, but I'm not sure they can get it to stick. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It seems like leftoids have finally noticed the chink in their armor. Although, not exactly the greatest metaphor, it's more of a political attack, so I guess they've noticed the chip in their blade, and the dullness of their blade. You know, the core issue with this whole Michael Cohen thing, they're trying to charge Donald Trump with a crime that Michael Cohen committed on his own, unsolicited. In other words, leftists are realizing that they've got the wrong guy. The whole task for Alvin Bragg here was to be able to prove that Donald Trump was the one who was at the core of all of it, that he's the one who initiated the conversations, demanded the payments, and then of course conspired to falsify the business records and the accounting of those payments ahead of the election. But there's only one problem. He never did any of that. No, that was Michael Cohen. And that's just the start of it, not even getting into the whole, you know, credibility issue surrounding the claim itself from Stormy Daniels and the potential involvement or scheming, let's call it extortion scheming, that's likely to have occurred here. In other words, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty, and of course if you're expecting a unanimous guilty verdict from a hopefully impartial jury, well then there cannot be any reasonable doubt. Well, I regret to inform you, leftoids, or actually, let me correct myself, CNN, your famous, most trusted name in news regrets to inform you that there's, quote, reasonable doubt all over this case.
Andy, what Michael's getting at is the burden of proof is an important one to remind everyone. It's on the prosecution, right? They need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Donald Trump broke the law. And you think, after listening to all of this, you think they fell short. How?
They fell way short, because let's start with reasonable doubt. What is reasonable doubt? And it's not simply a doubt based upon reason. Anytime a human being needs to make an important decision in life, if you have enough information, for example, doctor says you need open heart surgery. Doc, go ahead and schedule. I don't have a reasonable doubt. Conversely, if I say, I appreciate it, but I need a second opinion, I need more information, that is having a reasonable doubt. There is reasonable doubt all over this case. Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this. Thought he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. That doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. Stormy Daniels, let's hold a pity party for her. Why do we need to know whether or not the former president wore a condom or not? It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries, for legal fees, Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family? It's everywhere.
When Randy gets to whisper tones, I start getting concerned.
Again, that's coming from CNN, not me. According to them and their legal experts, the prosecution fell way short of proving the case against Donald Trump because there's obvious reasonable doubt here. Not irrational, unreasonable doubt. No, reasonable doubt. Like I keep saying, the core claim comes from an adult film star whose own lawyer alleges that she made the whole thing up in order to extort Donald Trump. Sounds like there may have been a scheme there. And who's to say that Michael Cohen wasn't in on it? And even if he wasn't, who's to say that he wasn't scheming against the former president, trying to stitch him up? I mean, the president was simply acting on his counsel. And as we heard testified, again from Michael Cohen's own lawyer, he apparently had a vendetta against Donald Trump over two things. Firstly, being overlooked for any cabinet positions within the Trump administration after 2016, and secondly, over having his yearly bonus reduced. Michael Cohen didn't receive his regular $150,000, and so he was frustrated with the former president, and who's to say that this whole thing wasn't cooked up as a revenge plot against the former president? It could easily be the case. I mean, Michael Cohen did admit while testifying that he committed larceny and stole tens of thousands of dollars from Trump out of the payments that were supposed to go to another firm. Credibility issues and clear, reasonable doubt. These people cannot be trusted. There's holes in their stories. The case isn't built off of evidence. There's no evidence alleging a clear, cut-out crime committed by the former president. There's no conspiracy. There's no proof of conspiracy that Donald Trump was involved in. I guess these truths are just so obvious, so undeniable that even CNN is forced in a position where they have to tell the damn truth. And actually, interestingly enough, they told another truth, which is kind of where I was going with this video anyways, that this whole process was rigged from the very beginning.
You can see how some of the deck has been stacked against Donald Trump. The jury, of course, largely from, or all from Manhattan, 90% of which voted for Joe Biden. We know that too. So the cake is baked on the biases here. The American people, though, fundamentally, they like and want fairness. If they perceive this to be unfair, it's going to blow up in the Democrats' face. And now you have Joe Biden saying he's going to comment on this trial from the White House. Not to mention the fact he went out today and had like a campaign rally with Robert De Niro kind of brushing Trump back and trying to go after Trump. He has made this political, a massive misstep by the Biden campaign and the Biden White House. It reeks of unfairness. The American people reject that in all forms.
The cake is baked on the biases here, from the prosecutors to the judge to the jury to the whole media circus that Joe Biden's campaign got involved in yesterday. And that much seems obvious. It seems clear to pretty much everybody paying attention. I think no matter where the ball falls at this point, the public verdict is already in. This case is a joke, and the majority of people are clearly on Donald Trump's side. We've seen that in the polling data, and of course you could just feel it in the air. You can feel the sentiment everywhere you go and everywhere you look. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. We're getting close to the end here. The verdict's gonna drop any day now. I'll keep you guys updated. Stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.